What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I got my guy ChrisBeCappinn here with me today. We dove into the WNBA yesterday. With the went 1-1 at Wagertalk. I had the Liberty team total under 87. We were kind of talking right before the show that Sabrina hit the three at the end with like 14 seconds left, up 11 or something like that. So that was a sucky loss, but I ended up taking the Storm game under after NECA was out. And then I told you also prior to that, also took the Sun minus 11 and a half after Shakira, Austin, and Sykes were out. So personally, I went 2-1, but hopefully some people got the better number or whatever if it was later. But how'd you do yesterday in the W?
Yeah, I see. So I had the Liberty first half minus the 4. They ended up winning by 3 after getting that big lead in the first quarter. We kind of talked about that off air.
Yeah.
And then I was on Seattle yesterday. They were able to get the win even without NECA in minus the 7.5. Also, I know me and you had talked about the team total under for the Mystics, which was
Yeah.
good money. I personally jumped on the Sun at halftime. I got a minus 7.5 because that game was tied, I think, at halftime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they ended up winning the third quarter, I think, by 17 points. So that was a pretty easy winner. And then the Phoenix Mercury team total under, I think it was 79.5, was also good money as well because,
Yeah.
3-point shooting team with no BG, and they're not making them, they're not going to score. I think DT finished like 0 for 6 from the
Yeah, man, I
three-point
was
line
looking at her
yesterday.
unders
So,
too, because what did she shoot the previous game, like 6 for 9 from three or something like that?
yeah,
She kind of went off.
she lit them up and had like 30 against
Yeah,
the Sparks on Sunday, and then it came all the way back down to earth yesterday. They were really locked in on it yesterday. A
I
couple of
know.
them just went in and out too, though.
I know a lot of people were on Skylar points yesterday, and she hit that three with like a few minutes left before getting pulled out. So
The
she
cash.
she
She
got
finished
every
with
man.
17,
She
right?
got
It
a lot
was
of people some
15 and
cash.
a half. Yeah.
Yeah, just it was that one 3-pointer too. If she didn't shoot that, oh man, that would have been
Yeah.
tough because a lot of people in the chat were on Skylar. And then I brought up Ezzy. Ezzy rebounds. She hit the 9 rebounds. Who I think someone mentioned points too, and she I'm pretty sure she went over because I think
She
she
had
got
13 in the first quarter. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it was definitely an Ezzy game without NECA. All right, well, you know what? Let's get into the WNBA. Um, First game up. Actually, let me share my screen. You wanna dive into it first before we go. Before I go, I gotta set up the banners. I forgot to do that.
Yeah. Do your thing. So I can talk about the game real quick. So first game up, I think the first thing to mention is that these are Commissioner Cup games now. So
Mhm.
point differential means a lot. And we got the Aces traveling. They will be laying. I think the updated line is like 9 or 8.5. I want to say last time I checked. On the road here, total come down just a tad bit. It opened at 168. I think went up to 170. Now it's back down to like 169.
Mhm.
So we got the home dog Wings. We got the away favorite Aces. And we talked a little bit about the injury report in this one, RC, a little bit. Vegas just, picked up Tiffany Hayes from China. And she didn't make her debut in that game on Friday against the Atlanta Dream. So you would kind of expect her to play in this one. I saw her listed as game time decision. I was, stalking the beat writers, trying to figure out, if she's with the team, if she's going to play. I would assume that she does, but I'm not 100% sure. And of course, Kirsten Bell and Chelsea Gray will remain out. Then for Dallas, I know Jayla Brown, she missed the last game. There will be no Natasha Howard and Satu Sablia, both out as well. So then I started looking at some of the situational stuff that you have on your screen right there for the people to see. And the biggest thing that jumps out to me is the Aces just lost as a favorite, and we don't see them lose too often. And they are also well rested in this spot. I think 4 days
Mhm.
of rest compared to only 2 for the Dallas Wings. We got Dallas coming back home off what is a 5-game road trip as well, only 1 day
Yeah.
of rest in between. So it seems like an Aces spot, and I think if you got the earlier line, kudos to you because I do think this line opened at like 6.5, and now, like I said, went up to 9. Now coming back down to 8.5. So we've seen some line movement. I think I would agree with the line movement going up, and I also agree with the total. Even though these are two fast-paced teams, I think that the Aces offense struggles a little bit more to score on the road, and I think that the Aces defense plays a little bit better on the road as well. So I like the Wings team total to go under in this spot, RC, and I also like the Aces to start the game really, really strong, coming off that loss. Against the Atlanta Dream. They lost outright. I think they were laying 9 points and lost their game outright on Friday. So had some time to kind of digest that, get some things done in practice, figure some things out. I also want to mention that I listened to the post game interview, and it was from Becky Hammond, and she talked about how her team just didn't share the ball well and how they fouled a lot. And the Aces don't do that. They love to share the basketball. I think they're still number one in assist to turnover ratio in the WNBA, and they also don't foul a lot. So those things kind of stood off, kind of jumped off the page to me. So yeah, I'll stay there, see, before I jump into like some of the actual numbers, but I'll kick it back to you.
Yeah, no, real quick. So you mentioned some of the stuff that so this is obviously the moneyballer.com. So we have some of that situational notes that you brought up, right? The whole rest advantage versus even though there's a rest advantage here for the Aces, the Wings actually has 2 or 3 days of rest as well, right? So it's not too much of a impact there. But if you look at some of these pieces here as like first game home off a long road trip, that's something that we look at in the NBA, something that was pretty profitable there. And then also the Aces, the fact that they're coming off of a loss as a favorite, and some of these baller systems kind of put those things together more. Some of the things that we look at in SDQL, like Killer Sports and Baller and Give Me the Dog, those are some of the things that we have under the baller systems, and really pointing towards the Aces there. You talk about their schedule, and one thing to note with this Wings team here, they played two tough opponents, right? The Sun and then the Lynx here, and obviously they're coming off 2 straight losses, but playing those types of teams back to back, physical, defensive minded teams back to back. Now you're facing an Aces team who's kind of like trying to. I wouldn't say they're trying to figure out their identity, but they're like, no, we're not supposed to be losing like this, or you know what I mean. So this is a get right spot for the Aces, and that's a tough spot to be in for the Wings. And then if you look at some of the trend perspective that you mentioned, right? You talked about the Aces first half. They've been doing well here in the first half on the road. The other piece, though, if you look at the Wings, they've been doing great in the first half off a loss as a dog. But if you're, like I said, I think this is one of those situations when you go home off a long road trip, it takes a little bit of time to kind of readjust, right? So that's something that might be a little bit different in this aspect. If we go to the stats, and you mentioned their assist to turnover ratio, first in the league, still there, and you mentioned the free throw rate, and they sent the who was it? The Dream? They sent the Dream to the free throw line a lot,
30 times.
Yeah, exactly. And then and you look at it from a whole season perspective, they're actually first in free throw rate allowed, meaning they don't normally send opponents to the free throw line. So that's telling me there's going to be some positive regression there on that aspect. So if we, that kind of goes along with what you were saying with the Wings team total under. If they're not going to get there to the free throw line as much as the Dream did, and if you look at it here, they don't, right? Because we see they don't got Satu, and Arike is more of a 3-point shooter. She doesn't tend to take it to the paint a lot. McCowan, obviously, I think she has a pretty good history against the Aces, to be honest, like, being able to dominate in the paint. So we might see some success with her if we're looking at it from a prop perspective, like rebounds or points from McCowan. But other than that, do you think that there's going to be some positive regression from the 3-point defense on the Aces side? I think at some point we do. I mean, because they're dead last here in corner 3-point field goal percentage allowed and above the break. But I mean, if you look at everything else, a lot of the other pieces really point towards the Aces, right? Situationally, offense, in my opinion, against the Wings defense fits perfectly. And then the other piece to it too is this pace here. First in pace for the Aces, fifth with the Wings, and to me, I think these two teams run a lot today, back and forth, and that could potentially keep McCowan off of the game, like if they run her off the court. But I think this is more of an overtime game, in my opinion. That just from a pace perspective and offensive efficiency, But yeah, like I don't know. From a side perspective, I can only look towards the aces. And I did get the -7 yesterday. So like you said, I was able to get in front of it. We do see the 9 now, so that's kind of tough to really push that out. But was able to get the 7 yesterday. I don't know if we're gonna see any movement back down, but it looks like it's kind of stuck at 9, and we even see circa at 9 at juice to 15 cents. So I'm not sure it's gonna come back down. Do you think that it's a double digit type game, like a 10
Yeah,
10 plus?
I think it could be RC. I'm not as confident in it just because when I look at the if I take a look at the Wings so far this season, like they have been a very good covering team. Outside of their game against the Lynx in their last game, this team is what 5-2 against the
Mhm.
numbers so far. So we've seen them be dogs and be feisty. 5-2, 4-2-1, depending on where you're looking against the number. And their losses have not been by double digits. They lost by 9 to the Sky, they lost by 5 to the Dream, and they lost by 11 to the Lynx. So only one double digit loss so far. They have been feisty and pretty scrappy, which is why I don't necessarily like the full game.
Mhm.
But we have seen them play much better in the first half than in the full game. So to me, this game really isn't. It's not really as much about the Wings as it is about the Aces. Like to go back, I just want to piggyback off something that you said just a second ago. Was do we see some positive aggression from the Aces from the 3-point line with them allowing teams to shoot 40%, which is that's not Aces like at all.
No.
They're dead last and above the break three, right corner and left corner opponent 3-point percentage. But for the Wings offense, RC, it actually hasn't been a shot that they've tried to shoot as much. I'm not sure if that's because Natasha Howard and Satu Sabli aren't there, but
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at above the break three. The Wings actually shoot. They've taken they've made
Least amount.
the second least amount, and they've
Uh-huh.
taken the least amount in general. And they're only shooting 33%. So that to me tells me, with the Aces off a loss, being well rested, having a couple days to get some practice in, that they do focus probably on their defense in this game, which is why I like that Wings team total to go under.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'll mention is when we talk about where the Wings are shooting the ball from, it's been in the restricted area. The number one in shots made in the restricted area at 16 a game. Number two in shots attempted in the restricted area, and they're shooting it at the fifth best percentage, shooting about 63%. The Aces defense has been amazing at the rim. They're number one in opponent makes, opponent attempts, and they're number one in opponent field goal percentage in the restricted area, only allowing teams to shoot about 54%. So if that's where the Dallas Wings are going to try to score, I think
Yeah.
that Kia Stokes, Asia Wilson will be able to limit them in that capacity. Excuse me, in that capacity.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to mention is the Wings specifically. All right, see, this is a big team. We know that this has been the trend for the last 2 years. They're number one in offensive rebound rate, offensive rebound percentage in the WNBA. They're number one in second chance points in the WNBA, and the number one in points in the paint in the WNBA. You know why that's not good for them? Because the Aces are number one also
Yeah.
in
Yeah. I've seen
limiting
that.
opponent offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
Number one in limited points off turnovers. Number one limited second chance points, and number one in limited points in the paint. So that's what led me to the Wings team total to go under. Also, if I look at the Aces so far this season in their 2 road games, they're only giving up 72 points per game, and they played some pretty good teams. They played the Lynx and they played the Dream. The Dream are a very fast-paced team, and that game went under by 20 points. And game one against the Dream went under by 20 points.
Mhm.
Their first road game, the Lynx went under, and that game stayed under by 23 and a half points. So I know it's Commissioner Cup, but Aces off a loss. To me, I just think that they bring the defense in this spot,
Yeah.
and they're only giving up 72 points per game so far on the road. So I know
Yeah.
it's a road spot, but I don't think about this Wings team being a great offensive team without Satu Sabli and without Natasha Howard. So that's what made me, all those things kind of made me look towards the Dream team. I'm sorry, the Wings team total under.
Yeah.
What else?
Just looking at the Aces here on the road. I mean, like you mentioned, like 72 points per game, number one in defensive rating, and then obviously their offense has struggled. But if you look at who they played, Minnesota one of the better defensive teams in the league. Atlanta is like, I would say, in the top half of the league in defensive rating as well. So they played some really tough defenses. So I think that the offense does show up here, along with their defense. So yeah, I still think that Aces at the 9 might still be in play. What else, Ski? Thanks for dropping in.
Not much. Good to be back on here with y'all. It's been a minute.
Yes, sir. Anything on this one? This is our first game that we talked about.
Well, I kind of I don't know. I think I disagree a little bit with Chris just because Aces haven't really shown us that great defense yet. Even the one time they lost, they still gave up 80. They scored 99, but it's not like they were holding them down defensively. So I'm thinking it's points. Every time I've seen these teams play, besides the last time, it's been like 170 plus. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I'm pretty certain 170 plus every time except the last time. And the Aces off of a loss in the regular season, going back to the beginning of last year, they're usually high scoring games, 6-2 to the over. So I was considering earlier Aces team total over. I talked to Vino. He kind of was thinking that, the Wings can maybe contribute here too. I'm either betting over 169 or team total over for Aces.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, RC, that, Aces, whether it's first half or full game, is the only way I'm looking off a loss in this spot, especially with as much rest as they had.
Yeah, just looking at the historical matchups, like you said, the last one went to just 125. Not really sure what happened there, but prior to that, everything was 175, 180, 188, 195. Yeah. So yeah, they've been. I mean, the way that they match up. Obviously, Chelsea Gray was probably in some of those games, right? So a big impact there. But I think one thing that I've seen recently is that Jackie Young kind of taking on that facilitator role. That kind of hurts her.
And Asia, they're the best thing smoking in the WNBA as far as that
exactly. I do think that we do see some positive regression offensively. Like, obviously she's been trying to facilitate, but she went 4 for 15 in this last game. I don't think we see that again from her, especially with the way the Wings play defense. I think it's a little bit different. I think that mid range too. If we go back to here, I think that mid range is where they could take advantage, right? Because the Aces right here, right, first in mid range field goal percentage. The Wings 10th in field goal percentage allowed in the mid range. So I think that's going to be where a lot of the damage is done for the Aces, and that's going to be Asia and Jackie, in my opinion. So yeah, the way that I would go here, I mean, like I said, I did take the 7 last night. I still think the 9 is in play, and then I also took the over 169 on the full game.
So Chris, are you on the under?
No. So you jumped in a little late, Ski. I like the first half Aces minus the 4.5. Okay. Just kind of like what you talked about. I just dove into a little bit deeper. The thing that I was talking about, though, Ski, is the Aces on the road so far. Their offense has kind of struggled. In the 2 road games so far, and they played against some really good, really fast-paced teams. They played the Lynx. Lynx not playing that fast, but Lynx are really getting out and pushing in transition. They played the Lynx and the Dream, and we all expected the Dream to be a little bit, that game to be a little bit more high scoring. Yeah. They're giving up 72 points per game, and sometimes with the Aces, their offense really struggles on the road. And I know that Hayes is supposed to make her debut. I'm guessing today. We still don't know how that's going to pan out. But I just expect a lot better defensive effort from the Aces here. Offensively, yes, but in the 2 road games, they gave up 66 to the Lynx, and they gave up 78 to the Dream. Like, those are good offenses so far. So that's where, and I kind of think that, outside of when I go in and look at the matchups, the where the Dream where the Wings like to score the basketball is in the paint. And with Asia Wilson and Kia Stokes down there, I don't think it's going to be that easy for them to be able to score. They're not a 3-point shooting team this year without Satu, without Natasha Howard. They're actually like last in 3-point attempts, which is pretty interesting on a team with Enrique. But Maddie Secrets and the other girls, they're not, shooting a bunch of those shots right now. So I didn't bet that, but I think that team total, it is coming down just a tad bit for the Wings, Ski. So I was thinking team total under for them specifically. That way I don't care what the Aces, what the Aces do offensively. I do think that they can slow down this version of the Wings offense.
Yeah. May I ask you something, RC?
Yeah.
So you like both the Aces and you like the over, that means you like Aces team total
Team
over.
total over, yeah.
Is there a reason you don't like the first half for the Aces?
I don't know, man. Like the first halves haven't been that great for me. I mean, you saw what the Sun did yesterday, right? I mean, like Chris, are or not the Sun, the Liberty. Was it the Liberty? Yeah, the Liberty,
Yeah, it
right?
was the Liberty.
They started off strong in that first quarter, and then they
Mhm.
kind of let off the gas pedal. The problem with the Aces too is also their second unit, right? And obviously Tiffany Hayes is going to come in and help that out. But it's her if she does debut today, it's going to be her first game. How are they going to affect that? But I think if they keep it close in the first half, then I still think that the Aces should be able to dominate in the second half and kind of kill it. I mean, especially with it being the Commissioner Cup, rules and all that stuff, and being able to, I think that gives them free will to kind of score late in the game. Like I got hit with Sabrina shooting that three. I had Liberty team total under 87. She hit a three with 14 seconds left to get over that. So I mean, I think if we see some of that type of stuff today, I can see whether or not it stays close in the first half, Aces dominate the rest of the way because they still. I feel like they want to get back to the Commissioner's Cup because they lose to Liberty last year, so they probably want to get back to that and get that revenge. So I don't know. Like I stayed away from the first half in this instance. And also just looking at this trend, these little splits, the Wings, they do well in the first half and then kind of fall off. It's you look at it here in the home aspect or whatever. So I don't know, kind of putting all that stuff together. I wanted to just split that out, take the over and then the side.
Fair enough.
All right, let's move on to the next game here. We got the Lynx and the Sparks. So we have a couple. So both of these teams pretty well rested, haven't played since the second. This is the same instance that we just talked about with the Wings. The Sparks are coming home off at least a 3-game road trip here. I think they lost. They lost to Phoenix, lost to Chicago. They beat the Fever, but I mean, I think everyone's beating the Fever right now. And then we look at the Lynx. This is the start of a road trip here. Beat Dallas, beat Phoenix, beat the Aces, lost to the Aces. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a surprise how they've started this season, but I think they're a little bit better than I expected because when we did our power rankings, I think we had them like fifth. They're definitely a playoff team, but not the way that they started like 7-1. This is kind of crazy, and they've been covering the full game on the road as favorites in all different situations. Their defense has been top notch. If you look at this here, I mean, they have the advantage of both offensively and defensively, and you can see the four factors are really towards the Lynx as well. They don't get to the free throw line a lot, which is not really a surprise because if you look at some of their players, they're mid-range shooters. I think Coyer really is the only person that really kind of goes into the paint to try and score. But mid-range and three-point shooting is kind of what they've been successful at, especially McBride. I think McBride has been someone that really pushed them up this season because I didn't expect her to kind of shoot the way that she has to start the season as well. And that's the reason why they're first and above the break three field goal percentage and second in corner threes. I took the Lynx yesterday at -7. I think it went up to 7.5 and it's come back down to 7. And then the total has come down to 156. I feel like I missed the boat on the under there just because it came down from like 160, I think.
Yeah,
That's a
160
lot
and
of
a
points.
half.
So it's come down a lot. I'm not sure I want to what do you call it? Get the ass under the line ski. So I would have leaned that way if I did more research to begin with, but I had the Lynx -7 here. Ski, what do you got in this game?
Well, I'm in agreement. I'm looking towards the Lynx. They've been playing really good basketball, and if you look at all of their games, I think the point spread is kind of irrelevant, right? When they're winning, it's by really big margins. So I just think about who's going to win this game, and I just don't like what I've been seeing from the Sparks. They're banged up too, going to be missing a couple guards potentially, and it's just like without that playmaker to set everybody up to keep the offense going versus a really good defensive team, I just think that they struggle. So I was thinking about Sparks team total under. It's kind of low at 74.5, but I feel like the Lynx are capable of holding them under. I just chose to go with the Lynx -7 because I'm keeping it simple. When they win, they cover, and I think they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I think you bought it, with the Sparks team total under. What I'm looking at here is the Lynx. So if I go turnovers forced, second in the league in turnovers forced, the Sparks turning the ball over at the highest rate. So that's definitely a good thing for the team total under, because then that limits their possessions. Then also the Lynx are really good at not sending teams to the free throw line. So that might come down a little bit here because the Sparks are first in free throw rate. So if that comes down, they turn the ball over at a high rate. That definitely seems like a team total under type of thing. Chris, what do you got on this?
Yeah, I mean, not jumping off what you guys are saying here. I actually tried to back the Sparks on the road because they was playing against the Mercury, and I'm not a believer in the Mercury on Sunday, and they got smoked in that game. So, I thought that this team was going to play hard for Kurt Miller, but I do think a lot of it is the injuries. Clarendon hasn't been playing; she's been hurt with a concussion, and the only reason I haven't played it yet is because I think she does mean a lot, like, to this team, and I haven't seen her officially ruled out yet, or them officially ruled out yet. Lexi Brown, Lexi Brown is also. We talked about this RC right before. She left that game with a leg injury. I'm not sure if she's going to be present, but without either one of them, yeah, I'm with Ski. I think this is like a double-digit win. This is the first time, however, we have seen the Lynx lay points on the road, though. Like, every single time so far they've been on the road, they've been a dog. So covering multiple, like, 4 possessions is a lot, but yeah, I'm not catching a falling knife and trying to bet against the Lynx right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at them here at home, they haven't covered a game at home. 2-4 ATS as a dog. So even if we do see them show up in the first half, they don't close out games well, is what it seems like. So, and the Lynx do. I don't see why the line has come back down to 7, to be honest. All right. Well, I think that's the 2 games here, the WNBA. You guys not touching MLB yet, huh?
Negative. Have fun with that shit, RC. I'll holler at you after the All-Star break.
All right. Well, I don't have too much time left, but if you guys want to drop off, Ski and Chris, because I'm about to try and cap one of the MLB games.
Yeah.
You guys definitely can. I definitely appreciate you guys coming on here and talking the W with me. Before you guys go, though, do you guys want to drop your favorite play?
Yeah. Well, thanks. Nice to have Let's Cat back over here, and thanks for having me on. My best play, or the only play that I've made so far in the W, is the Lynx -7. So that's what's in my pocket. Best of luck if you tell, and good luck on that MLB, RC.
I appreciate you, Ski. Chris, what you got?
I'll go Aces first half. Like I said, bounce back spot, well rested. I'm not sure if we get Tiffany Hayes in there tonight or not, but I do think that the Aces are in a really good bounce back spot, especially with the Wings coming off the long road trip as well. So I'll go Aces first half minus the 4.5. Best bet.
Love it. All right, Chris, appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Let me know
luck,
when
appreciate
you can hop on again. I'm doing the Kyle show with you later too, so we're gonna be talking about the games again.
Okay. Bet. Yeah. That'll work.
Hopefully we get some news on Clarendon and Lexi Brown by then.
Yeah, that'd be great, because then I will be betting the link. I'll be jumping on the links with you guys, and I'm probably gonna look towards taking the links early too. I think that they've been starting the games pretty well, and I think that they have not a double-digit lead, but a double possession lead at the end of the first half. You can get it first half right now. I think it's like -4, -4.5. I like that look a lot too. But like I said, I just want to kind of wait for the injury report with that one.
All right, sounds good, bro.
All right.
I'll see you later. All right, let's dive into some MLB. Yesterday, I think we talked about the Rays and the under. The Rays won, the under did not hit. Then I think we talked about the Yankees, and the Yankees ended up winning that one there. But if there's anyone in the chats that want to look up any or live cap any games, let me know what game you want to see. Just full transparency, I haven't bet any MLB today. And so I'll probably just be capping this live with you guys, basically seeing it for the first time. Let's give it a couple minutes here to see which games you guys want to see. Wait, some of these already started. Let's see. Yeah, there's some early games today. Let's just do. What's a good line here? Skeens. Well, everyone likes Skeens. Let's look at that game here. So we have Pirates and Dodgers, Skeens, Paxton. Can you look into the guard? Yeah, I'll do that right after this one. I'll look at Guardians right after this. All right, so we got Skeens and Paxton. A lot of hype behind Skeens. He's been showing out pretty well. Our rating system has the Pirates as a 3, so minus 142 to minus 162. There's an implied probability here, 58% to 61%. So there's a slight edge to the Pirates in this matchup here. And a lot of it has to do with the starting pitcher matchup. And yesterday, 1-0 for the Pirates. So they got the win yesterday. Last 5 starts here for Paxton. Coming off a really good start here. Oh, he only pitched 3 innings. I'm not really sure what happened. And then Skeens coming off a solid start here. Let's move to. Actually, I want to pull the last 30 days. So Pirates are 4-0 straight up in the first 5 money line with Skeens. This is first time as Paxton as a dog. That's interesting. Looks like overs in their games too. So I think they get a lot of run support. Both of these guys get a lot of run support. So 10, 6, 9, 10, 10, 6. Yeah, both of these teams get both of these guys get a lot of run support when they pitch. Last 30 days as a dog, only one instance for the Dodgers versus right-handed pitchers. They lost in the first 5 and the full game. Left-handed pitchers, 3-1 straight on the first 5 money line, but 1-3 full game. So this looks like a first 5 type of play here on the Pirates side. If we look towards the total on these splits, it's kind of split. So unders here and then overs on the Pirates side. Dang, look at that. 10 1-1 on the first 5 over versus left-handed pitchers for the Pirates in the last 30 days. That's a crazy look there. All right, so if we look at the batting matchup, definitely an edge to the Dodgers last 30 days. You can see that in the run support. The Pirates do have some power, but they're striking out and at a high rate, and they're also not walking at a high rate. So that's really tough. But the good thing is Paxton isn't really a strikeout pitcher. You can see that they're currently giving up a good amount of home runs at a high rate, and that's good for the Pirates. And then if we look at the starting matchup, Skeens looks very consistent. Potential negative regression here for Paxton. The bullpen, this is where this aligns right here. These bullpen numbers definitely align with the first 5 right here. So first 5 being able to win, then they give it up there. This looks like a Pirates first 5 type of play on the money line, probably. Pirates first 5 money line. Just back Skeens in this spot because it looks like the rating system really likes him here. Let's go to, how about them Yankees? First five Yankees. All right, let's go to the Guardians game. So we got Guardians Royals in Cleveland. Guardians are minus 126. The last time we pulled it, let's see what it is now. Still around there, minus 120. So Circa is actually moving towards the Royals. Our rating system likes the Guardians here, mainly for the starting pitcher matchup. Just looking at it. All right, so Guardians schedule, they've been at home. Guardians won 8-5. I don't think we know. Okay. Sandlin, is he still the starter? He is. Okay. So it doesn't look. This might be his first start. He's probably been either opening or relieving or something. I don't know. I don't know why we don't have numbers on him. I'll have to look at the database for that. If we look at Singer, solid run support there, coming off a pretty decent start. 5 innings pitched, only 1 earned run. All right, so if we look at splits versus right-handed pitchers, Guardians on the full game look pretty solid there. 7-2 on the full game as home favorites. As dogs in general, you can see the Royals as dogs versus right-handed pitchers. 3-8, 3-8 straight up. So 3-6 as a road dog, but they're 0-2 as a home dog. So as a dog in general, 3-8. If we look at the totals, it's kind of split. Split towards the first half over and full game under. Royals, if you guys like these nerfy stuff, so Royals as road dogs, 9-1 on the nerfy. Let's look at the batting matchup here. I mean, looks maybe a slight edge to the Royals here, but I mean, if we're talking about runs per game, it's pretty even. Just a slight advantage to the Royals. Probably not a huge advantage. It's weird that they have 31 home runs. So the Guardians have more home runs, but their barrel rate and hard hit rate is a little bit off. I would say that there's probably negative regression on the Guardians side as far as like runs per game, because if they're not, yeah, that's what I would think here. Starting pitching matchup. So yeah, so this is his first game starting. All his other pitching stats are from reliever. As a reliever, he's walking at a high rate. I mean, potential negative regression for both of these guys, in my opinion. It seems like an over type game. Singer. All right, so if we look at his splits, 5-0 to the over this season for Singer when he starts, and the Royals bullpen sucks. I don't know from a side perspective, Gerson, but I think this is an over type game, in my opinion. Especially if we look at this bullpen, if they continue to pitch like that, they're probably going to give up a lot of runs. That one's tough. All right, let's do one more here. Nationals and Mets. Nationals plus 126 at home. Patrick Corbin and Severino. Corbin's 1-6. So from here, the Mets have the advantage. I would say that it's probably where it should be, minus 142 to minus 162. It was very close to it. So Mets have won the last 2 against them. Look at the last 5 starts. Decent start there for Corbin. On the road. Seems like he pitches well on the road versus at home. Severino gave up 4, 5 1/3. Going to the splits. Not a good spot for Corbin. 1-4, or the Nationals are 1-4 when he starts, and as a home dog, haven't won. Looks like an over type look. If we look at the splits here by pitcher, look at this. Mets versus left-handed pitchers. First 5 and the full game to the over. They're giving, it seems like they're giving up runs here in the, how's their bullpen? Yeah. So they're giving up runs in this after their starting pitcher comes through. That I can see that from these splits here. If we look at, again, another nerfy look, if you guys like that. 21-5 to the nerfy here for the Nationals last 30 days. But the Mets in this situation are positive. So looking at the last 30 days, not a lot of offense here from the Nationals. Huge advantage here on the Mets side. We could even say that their runs per game is a little bit lower than what they should be. Starting pitcher perspective, I mean, it's not like he's dominating either, so he might be able to give up some runs. I think this is an over type game, especially if you look at the Mets bullpen. This seems like another over type game here. So I would look towards the Mets and the over. Mets teams, yeah, Mets and the over would probably be the way that I look here. All right, so that's 3 MLB games there. Again, guys, this is the site that I use, moneyballer.com. It's free to sign up until August 1st, I believe. We have the NBA, WNBA, MLB, and then obviously NFL coming up soon. Let me stop my screen sharing here. But yeah, so we dove into the WNBA and some of these MLB games here. Give you a little insight on how I use the MLB capping matchup pages. And I guess it's time for the best bet section here, or top look. I want to say my top look is probably the over at this point with the Wings. With the Wings and the Aces at 169. I did get that. So I got the Wings and the Aces at 169, over 169 yesterday. I also took the Wings, the Aces -7. It is at -9 right now, but I think I feel like they should win by double digits. And then I also have the Lynx -7 as well in this game. Not sure if I'm gonna mess with the total for the Sparks Lynx game at all, but I feel like I would lean more towards the under in that situation. From the MLB, I think we looked over the Mets, and I said Mets and the over. Then we looked at the Guardians game. I feel like I looked at the over in this game as well. And then I talked about the Dodgers and the Pirates and backing Skeens in the first 5. All right, so with that said, guys, shout out to everyone who popped in. Shout out to Ski and Chris for popping in for the WNBA section to help me out with that. I will be on Kyle Kirms' show later at 1 p.m. Pacific. I think that's 4 Eastern. So that's the end of the show, guys. Thanks to all who tuned in on YouTube and on Twitter. If you like what you hear and see, please make sure you share the show. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Before you go, there's links in the description as well if you want to check out themoneyballer.com. And with that said, I always need to end the show with this. Please remember, whether you fade us or follow, it's on you to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Until next time, peace.